Hello from Southern California. This is the DealershipNews.com podcast, where we bring you the new and old school insight into the business of selling cars and service so you have the foresight to grow your dealership and stay ahead of the competition. I'm Kelly Kleinman, and here is our show. Today's automotive news you can use is about dealer teamwork. I'm Kelly Kleinman. Our guest today is the Chief Sales Officer, James Klaus. James, welcome.
Thank you for having me on.
We've been trying to get you on now for a few weeks, and we got lucky.
Oh, yeah.
Good to see you. So some of us grew up in the car business. Some of us just woke up one day, and there we were. What's your backstory?
Little combo platter there. So native to Michigan. Grandfather worked for Chrysler. Grew up in a little area called Macomb County. And so it was always kind of in our blood. The auto industry, when you're from Detroit, it's hard not to be a part of it. Didn't directly go into it. I actually was selling office supplies, and I walked into a car dealership when I was about 20 years old, and I had to drop off a case of paper for the GM. And I was talking to him. His name was Jim Fretwell, and I upsold him from a case of paper to a pallet. And when I upsold him to the pallet, he said, "How much money do you make, young man?" And I said, for some reason, I was 20, so I told him, and he goes, "Well, that's pathetic." And he goes, "How about you make this?" And I go, "Well, interested." And long story short, 2 weeks later, after I gave my notice, I got into the car business, and I never left. I did 16 years in retail after that, and I've been a vendor for going on 4 now. But ultimately, kind of found me, and I've loved every minute of it.
You're fresh off the floor.
Oh, I was 16 years in retail. I've done my retail experience. I started as a salesperson. Yeah. Then I became a finance manager, desk manager, general sales manager. Then I became an e-commerce director for another group. And then I became the general manager of a 4-store group on top of that. And long story short, joined Dealer Teamwork after our CEO recruited me heavily.
Oh, terrific. Well, let's get into it then. Let's talk a little bit about dealer teamwork. Let's pretend you're on an elevator with the president of a large dealership group. What does your 30-second elevator pitch sound like?
Fantastic. So what I say to a dealer group or to a dealer principal in those scenarios would be, we allow you at Dealer Teamwork to cope in the modern digital ecosystem. Cope means create an ad once, publish everywhere. So create once, publish everywhere. So in our system, you create an offer and it instantly publishes it to your website, to the landing pages on your website, to Google organic search, to Google paid search, to display, to retargeting, to YouTube, to Facebook, to Instagram, and to your email campaigns. One push of the button, real time, done.
That was 30 seconds. That was the tightest 30-second pitch I've ever heard in my life.
Have you ever met my CEO, Sean Stapleton, the greatest salesperson in automotive history?
Yeah. No.
Yeah. So
maybe.
if I'm not tight, I wouldn't have this job.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So you guys, as you mentioned, you're a full spectrum digital marketing company. When you are asked to assess a dealership analytically, you go in there and you've got to check them out, right? What does that checklist look like?
Absolutely. So one thing we're really blessed and lucky to have here at Dealer Teamwork is we have some really great co-founders. So when I assess a marketing or when I assess a dealership, I usually get with my man, Eric Milch, one of our co-founders, and we run through a checklist. The first thing we check out is their Google My Business listing. We want to see how well optimized it is, if it's driving traffic to the website. Then we get into their Google Analytics account, and we try to find wasted spend. We try to figure out what they're doing that works and what doesn't work. Then we go in and we make sure their ads are optimized properly. So we get into their Google Ads account and we see what they're doing, what their strategy is, how they're performing. Then we get into their Facebook ads and their Instagram ads, and we do a deep dive into what's working, what's not, and then we provide that back to the dealership. We also do a full website audit to see what pages are performing, what pages are underutilized, where we're landing traffic from different campaigns. We do a real in-depth digital audit, and it's not all going to be bad. Everybody always thinks it's all going to be bad. But there's some really quality things in there that we want to, keep building on. And then we find weaknesses that we can address and come to the table with a really tight strategy. And then we work with the dealerships on our next plan of actions to put the strategy into play. So Google My Business, Google Ads, display retargeting, website optimization, destination URLs, Facebook ads, Instagram ads, and email campaigns. We audit it all, and then we bring them best practices.
If you had to identify what aspect of a dealership needs the most, it's a general question, but for the most part, I found that there are certain things that dealerships are failing at just almost across the board. What would that be?
Ooh, it's a tough question, but well, the first thing we see is from a marketing aspect is wasted spends. We see so much frivolous waste in the digital marketing ecosystem that it's almost alarming. It's one of the reasons why our company exists. So a lot of people, a lot of vendors, a lot of agencies will spend your money on the spots that make the vendor money, not spots that make the dealership money or drive high ROI. So the biggest thing I see from a marketing aspect is just straight up wasted spend on campaigns that don't work, but we do it because we always have. Now, what do I see when I go in store? I see two things. I see a lack of communication. So you have a marketing department, you have dealer principals, GMs, GSMs. But the first thing I do when I go into a store to talk to someone is actually go on the lot and I get up. I have a salesperson up me. And I before I'm in there, I know what their marketing efforts have been about. And I ask the salespeople point blank, what is your current offer on XYZ vehicle, say Ford Escape? Hey, I was looking online and I noticed, you have some offers on the Ford Escape. What's the incentives right now? What's your going offers? And 99% of the time, salespeople got no clue.
No idea.
Salespeople got no clue. They're just trying to throw me in a car and get me on a demo drive.
Yeah.
I'm giving them it. And then I go inside and I explain to the staff, I go, all the marketing in the world is awesome. But if you're not going to tell your salespeople about it and you're not going to communicate the message, it's never going to get to the consumer and you're going to have a bad experience. So I do a combo platter of both. One, wasted spend, and two, a lack of communication and process in the dealership to let the people on the floor, to let the people talking to the customers know the message that they're trying to put out there.
Yeah, I agree with that. By the way, we've done some research in the past. 2 years ago, we contacted 450 different dealers. I found a big problem was with the follow-up and the quality of the follow-up. Some were unbelievable, but really only about 18 to 20% of them were what I would consider passable.
Absolutely, you nailed it. We have some friends in the industry that can help with that as well. There's some companies out there that help with that long-term follow-up. So Conversica is one I like to recommend. Little automation, little AI, but you nailed it. It's that communication, the accountability, and the responsibility of the salesperson to follow up.
Let's dig into your M-Pop suite of services, peel the banana back on used and new car marketing, service marketing, so on and so forth. And is it successful because it's user-friendly, adds to the transparency of the engagement process? You tell me.
Great question. So obviously we've grown very fast at Dealer Teamwork. We've got some really solid OEM relationships and whatnot. But why do people like our M-Pop? Why do our customers stay with us? Why is it successful? Well, it's because we thought about the end result before we started any types of campaigns. What do I mean by that? When we create something in our M-Pop, our goal is the conversion at the end of the customer cycle. So then we worked it backwards. So why do people stay with us? Why do people like us? One, we educate the dealer. We allow them to know what we should and should not be doing. Instead of just telling them, we educate them. A lot of people like that. We do weekly calls with our dealers. So every single week, we get an update on how they're doing, best practices, philosophies. A lot of people only talk to these dealers once a month. We talk to them once a week because we know the 26th of the month is a lot different than the 3rd of the month. The 15th of the month is different. Everybody has different end goals in place. New and used cars, the volume of ads we create is second to none in the industry. So when we pencil a deal, for lack of a better term, in our software, and we put out, a merchandised offer. So think lease payments, 0 down lease payments, a finance payment, an APR payment, a discount amount. We then distribute that content to Google paid search through 184 different variations of ads, to Google display, to retargeting. And then we also in real time send that to Facebook for ads there, to Instagram for ads there, to email campaigns for ads there. And so being able to match your marketing message and then making sure all of the mediums are covered from one software And my team will do this all for the dealership. They never have to get into our MPOP, but they're welcome to use it at any time. We give everybody full access. But knowing you can update something in one spot and it updates your whole digital marketing mix is massive. Now, the next thing we did, sorry, I'm going to be long-winded on this one for one second.
Go.
But the next thing we did is we matched the ad to landing pages. So no one else in the industry, nobody else has figured out the fact that I don't care if the marketing is on Facebook, in email, in Instagram, on a paid search ad. We have to have content and a landing page created that matches the marketing message. So if you click on an ad for a $199 lease offer on a Ford Escape, you need to go to the website, not land on the home page, not land on a vehicle description page, but land on a landing page that's built to convert traffic that shows you that $199 a month offer on a Ford Escape that you can actually buy today. So we get the whole customer journey in there, and then we make sure we optimize the website to convert the traffic that we drive there. Instead of just saying, hey, sent you a bunch of traffic to your website, it's, hey, we sent a bunch of traffic to the landing pages to convert into a lead for the dealership.
And all for just $29.99 a month. It's amazing what you guys could do for such a little price. Of course.
But wait, there's more.
Exactly. Exactly. I was in DR for a long time. I know exactly how that works. That's a lot of work. I will tell you that is a lot of work. Is most of it's automated, I would assume. And of course, your A/B testing and all that good stuff.
Yeah, so one thing I think we've erred on in our industry too much is relying 100% on automation. Yeah. Humans are super valuable. So what we've done at Dealer Teamwork is we built a software platform to help automate 90% of marketing. But there's the other part that needs that human element, that needs that human touch, that needs a human brain to make sure the campaigns and everything else is set up properly. So with that being said, we have human beings checking, double checking, triple checking. And then one thing that AI doesn't do, and one thing automation doesn't do, it doesn't have outside the box strategies. So human beings have outside the box strategies. Right. Human beings have ideas. True. So I can't remove that. I need that. I strive for that. The point of the automation and the point of the technology is to free up my human beings to use their brains more and type less.
It's so true, because from time to time I'll get on with Google, their concierge service, because I'm a somewhat of an SEO guy. I'm a Google certified individual, and they'll give me some advice, and I'll tell them, you don't run a business. You just know basically, what you've been told to train us to do, but a lot of times in real time application or in the real world, it doesn't always work. You have to have that experience. You have to have that human intuition. This is a tough question. What would you say your company's hero services or products are?
Our people. It's actually not a hard one. Oh. So, and the reason I say that, and I get really passionate on this one, Kelly, is I was a dealer for a very, very, very long time. And one thing I personally hated was when I would call a company and I would get my client services rep, and they had no clue about the car business. They didn't understand what my goals and my growth bonuses was and what I was striving to do at the end of the month. So at Dealer Teamwork, we could have the best tech in the world, but if our people aren't any good, we're no good. So what we did is we went out, we assembled the strongest client services team, I believe, in automotive history. We started top up. We took Ann and Sue Jacobson, who ran AutoNation, White Bear Lake Ford, or Towsley Ford before that, the most profitable Ford store in the United States of America for 10 of the last 15 years. They run our client services. So that's who you get to talk to when you call, when you need strategy help. Maybe you're underperforming for the month. You're a few cars behind. We have experienced car people, not just failed car salesmen. I'm talking about people that ran the best stores in the world, right? Most profitable Ford store in America. I ran a Ford store. It was not the most profitable Ford store in America. I sit down with, hey, it's true. I'm okay with that, right? Because I have the people that ran it. I get their ideas. Peter Boson, our director of OEM and one of our VPs of business development, ran the largest BMW dealership in the nation for 30 years, right? South Bay BMW, Torrance, California.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. So those are the people that we have here. And without great people, your product means nothing.
Yeah. So here's a fun question. What sets you apart from others in your marketing category? Is it possible to be a master of all practices as opposed to doing just one or two things really great? I know you've got a great team, but I have to ask.
Absolutely. It's a super fair question. As we say at Dealer Teamwork is we don't have generalists. We have a lot of specialists. So how do I service a dealership, say a large store, if I don't have a lot of people who are specialists? So the way we set up our client services is that we have an account manager. The account manager talks to that dealership on the weekly calls, or that account manager is the one calling and updating them. Their whole focus is making sure they get the best service possible, and we drive good strategies. Now, to support that account manager, we have a team, I should say, of search and social media managers. So the search and social managers only focus on paid strategies, on driving more traffic, more successful traffic. And then the social managers focus on Facebook and Instagram. So how do I become an expert in all fields? Well, I don't tell my people, you got to know it all. We tell our people, we want you to be a master of Facebook marketing. Or we want you to be a master of the Google ecosystem for paid. Or we want you to be a master of search engine optimization. And then the account manager is the one who relays the information to the dealership. So they have a team of specialists behind them to make sure we are at the cutting edge and the forefront of our industry at all times. I always like to tell our clients, as a vendor, for me, it's fun because I have to serve your needs today. But I also have to think ahead and look at the ecosystem and look what's happening and be prepared to serve you 6 months from now with ideas and offers and content creation that nobody's even thought about yet because the ecosystem changes so much. So I got to serve you now. I got to be a specialist. I got to be the best at what we do. I also have to think ahead to the future. Then we have a whole team of strategists thinking about what we're going to do 6 months from now to make sure we're on top of the game.
What a great segue for the last question. You're a great interview.
Yes.
What do you have in store for us in 2020?
Absolutely. We got a lot of cool things happening in 2020. We'll have some huge announcements at NADA. Little tickle.
Oh,
right.
Going. So you're going to be there. That's good.
Oh, of course. We're splitting a booth with a good friend of ours, Jack Behar from Interactive Tel. We are going to be right there. We're trying to make sure our booth is right next to the FCA area. We are doing a lot of things with Google My Business in 2020 with additional Google My Business optimizations. Some people would say, hey, James, you can't charge for those services. Okay. What we like to think is it's an enhancement to our current customers. Facebook and Instagram marketing are blowing up and changing every single day. So we have some really cool case studies coming out. We have some really good findings that we have about the most successful way to market on people on Facebook, because there's the spray and pray or there's the highly targeted. And we have a phrase coming out, and I'm just going to I'll tease you a little bit with it, called cross-pollination. If you have multiple vendors or multiple partners helping with your marketing and digital, we think it's a bad idea because we need to communicate what we're doing on Facebook and Instagram and email and on organic content with our Google campaigns. Our Google campaigns need to talk to our Facebook campaigns. Because we do it all for a dealer, we can cross-pollinate those audiences and make sure we're getting in front of people at the right time. Nobody else is really getting to that point yet. We are there, and it's going to be really fun in 2020. Right now, we are OEM approved with FCA. We are OEM approved with BMW. We are OEM approved with Mercedes-Benz, with Kia, with Mini. And I would say in Q1 and Q2 of 2020, you will see an additional 3 to 5 major OEMs coming onto our platform as well.
Good luck. Facebook's tricky stuff. I mean, I have to say it's a gold mine. You know, it can be tricky though. I have fun with it. I get great results with it. But
phenomenal results. And then remember, like Facebook Marketplace for used cars, huge opportunity. But there's only a handful of people that are approved to do Facebook Marketplace right now.
Yeah.
Humble brag.
You're one of them, I would assume.
Well, thanks for asking. We are. But you'll see a lot from us in 2020. We don't slow down. We'll be at all the major conferences, all the major events, speaking at 20 groups all over the country, doing road shows with our OEM partners. We'll be everywhere.
No, that's good to hear. Well, James, I want to thank you so much for joining us, man. It's was well worth the wait, and it's good to hear that Dealer Teamwork is kicking it. I suspect that you'll continue to do so, and we'll see you in orbit somewhere, because it looks like you've got some pretty good altitude right now.
Thank you so much. Appreciate the time. Appreciate you having us on. This is awesome.
All right, that's it, James Klaus. You heard it. You heard it from the man, the myth, the legend. Dealer Teamwork. A better to look out for in 2020. Kelly Kleinman here, Dealership News. We'll see you next time.